You're Shad, I gotta fix some coding. Bear with me. Un momento, por favor. Wait, no, it's there. What? I don't understand why the chat wasn't showing up on my. I don't even know. But chat's on the screen. Whatever. Let's vibe for a second. Hit the beat. I love it. How you guys doing? Happy Sunday. Happy Valentine's Day. Fellas, make sure you're taking care of your babies, your old ladies, your girls. You guys see what this is? One of the things I got. I ordered a Disney themed caricature drawing of me and my girl, but I'm kind of covering her, so now I just look like a conceited weirdo that has a portrait of himself. You guys want to see what it looks like? It looks like that. Bam. I felt like I personally felt like it could have been better, but you know, she was happy. It's the thought that counts. One of the many gifts I got. But hopefully you guys taking care of your other halves today. Hopefully you guys aren't too bothered by my heater running. I'm sure. Usually I try to create minimal background noise that I can control. It's effing cold. It's cold. It's cold. Waco, Texas, temperature. Guys, it's not going to be above freezing here until like Friday. It's ridiculous. Snowing today. 9 degrees is a low. High of 22. More of the same tomorrow. Tuesday still 20. Like, we don't get above freezing temperatures until Friday. Again, I know some of you are watching from like Wisconsin or Canada, and you're like, ha, look at this guy. But I'm telling you, they don't know what they're doing down here. The humidity is up, the precipitation's up. We don't have salt trucks, we don't have snow plows, we don't have none of that. People just lose their mind. And we had a 100-car pile up the other day. So we're just kind of sheltering down. But because of the temperatures, I kind of need the heat. So let me know if the heat's too loud. I can always turn the gain up or whatever, and maybe that'll fix stuff. But, man, happy Sunday. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're at. I hope you're staying warm wherever you're at. And it is Sunday. We usually never do Sunday streams. It's usually the day off. And I was yesterday at the end of the stream, I was like, hey, let me take a look at what tomorrow's looking like. It was a full-on main slate. It was like a Friday night size slate. And I was like, I guess no football, whatever. And I look forward. I think Thursday's a 3-gamer, so I might try and trade you guys today for Thursday. But I didn't want to leave people stuck out on today's slate. I thought we could have some fun here. So shout out to the live chat if you guys are watching live. I think because of the fact that I'm streaming today on a Sunday, maybe a lot of other people that stream around this time aren't streaming, so maybe we get some new eyes. If you're new to the channel, I'm Gun, twitter.com/Gundacker. Pretty cool dude. I think we laid back here. We not toxic here. And if you are, we give you the old heave ho. So kick back, hang out a little bit. We're going to research the slate. And hopefully have some fun. I think I might be by myself. I don't know. I tagged Raj. I didn't get nothing. But if it is, it's fine. Earth to Air. What's up, Earth to Air? Ben Snappin', G Yali, Ryan, Gavin, Juliano, 4425, Quan. What's up, fellas? G-Man. Norman Powell Day. It might be. Adam Shockley. What's up, buddy? Happy Sunday. Pete Dobush. As a single man, happy race day lineups. Now it's NBA time. Yeah, you guys sweating that NASCAR. I saw Smeezy in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. He has some NASCAR stuff up for me. So, boom, fire those off. Get to NBA. Shout out to Smeezy. Our crew chief, Darren. What's up, Darren? Marvski. Man, happy Sunday, fellas. Hope you guys got some good rest last night. And hopefully you guys did all right last night. One of those short slates that we felt like we got pressured to play a certain couple of guys. So we love that total in the Golden State game. Slate just kind of fell out, right? A couple lopsided games. James Harden, highest score on the slate, 62.5. Not really a shock there. The game that wasn't even on the slate had 3 of the top scorers on the day. Sabonis did what he did. But it wasn't really like a fantastic spot. I think the play at the end of the day, looking back, and we talked about this game being a pivot, You could four-man Pacer stack yesterday and been great. T.J. McConnell, we touched on him. Miles Turner, Malcolm Brogdon, Domantas Sabonis. All these guys essentially got you 40. Really, Doug McDermott, throw him in the mix. So Pacers were the team to really solidify some lineups last night. Golden State kind of couldn't keep up there with the Nets at the end. The game still hit the over on the game total, but only James Harden and I guess I had a ton of Jeff Green. I'd take that, and Bruce Brown showed up. He ended up starting, and they started Kevin Durant at the 5, which I talked about that being a potential range of outcome for them. The Knicks blew out the Rockets, back-to-back blowout victories for the Knicks. Eric Gordon, the Rocket to have 5,800, 40 DKP for him on the Knicks side. Randall was your highest scoring Knick player, but at almost 9K, he really wasn't a factor. Emmanuel Quickley was really the guy to have, and Derrick Rose went from 20 minutes in his first 2 games to 23 on a back-to-back. So maybe, just maybe, Tibbs is inching him up, but also the game blew out, so maybe we get 38 minutes out of Randall instead of 33 in a neutral game, right? But that was yesterday. It's time for today. Hopefully you guys did well yesterday. If you did, congratulations. I saw some screenshots on Twitter, in the DMs, and the Discord. And if not, hey, we got another day, another dollar, another opportunity today to be great. What up, solid picks? Man, happy Sunday, y'all. It's cool to see you guys on a Sunday. It's also cool to see you guys actually show up and vibing with us, supporting the stream. Where we at? 30+ live viewers now. You guys are awesome. I don't know why the live chat is not showing up for me on my usual screen, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So I'm going to have an extra screen up for the chat, which is fine. I just have to navigate a little differently on my second screen. We got the bang, though. Fantasy Labs. Did Labs get us a tweet? Did Labs get us the Sunday 3 p.m. tweet? Usually a good place to start. If you guys already dip your toes in some research today, how we looking? I swept the spreadsheet a minute ago. Did some projection tweaking. Still a lot of work to do between now and lock, but for the most part, I haven't really dove and swam around too deep into this slate. Pull up Labs here. There we go. And kind of see where we're at. I was messing with the Pistons minute projections before I went live, and I was like, man, this is not fun. No 3 p.m. tweet from Labs, so I guess Sunday they don't do that. We did, what is that? Gordon Hayward probable. That's good to know. Josh Hart probable. NAW's probable. The other games in the underway. All right, so we don't really have a bunch of stuff to watch, or at least not warned of. Bagley questionable for Sunday. Theo Maledon is out. SGA's listed as out. Darren Fox questionable. That's pretty significant. Paul George remains out. All right. We're vibing. My guy, Chris Boucher, you like that? Bang will F you up. Man, I love me some Bang. What's up, Chris? Is investing DFS on Valentine's Day is very problematic. Buy your girl a single entry into like $100. Look, babe. Don't do that. You'll be single. Luka and Porzingis, you like that? You like Boucher? All right. Is D-Russ playing? I have D-Russ listed as out. If that's who you're talking about. Target those Wolves today. All right. Let's jump into it head first. Hey, if you follow me on Twitter, show me some love. Retweet or like the tweet featuring this stream. Show some love for us going live on a Sunday. And hopefully we bring some new eyes here. The channel hasn't really grown much in the last 2 weeks. And I think it's because a lot of other channels are going live at the same time. And everyone's just kind of holding the same audience. So I know the answer, if I want to grow the channel, is to put up some more overnight content that people can search and watch, some 10-minute, 20-minute shorts. But nonetheless, help me out. Help the community out. Help me out on Twitter. Hit that retweet or like button, and we'll have some show some love. What's up, Shadow Stefan? Ben Snappin. Luckily, my girl's sister got proposed to a couple days ago. Luckily, I feel like, all right, I guess she had brunch and my girl ain't here on Vita. All right. I mean, you say luckily for now, but when she starts coming back, unless you guys are already tied up, because there comes if you're with a girl for more than X amount of time, a year or two, and then her friends start getting proposed to. Oh, they've only been together a year, and they're already engaged. And they start throwing those at you. Like, you're gonna have to make a move. So I don't know. Luckily, if you guys are already hitched, but if not, look forward to some of those. G-Man, which Bulls play today so I could play Valentine on Valentine's? Yes, all the narratives. We could play Josh Hart, who's featured in the first game. That's the greatest segue in NBA DFS history. Game number 1 today. New Orleans Pelicans at the Detroit Pistons. Project starting 5 for the Pelicans: Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Stone Cold Steven Adams. It's going to get one board. What? Taking on DeLon Wright, Wayne Ellington, Jeremy Grant, Blake Griffin, and Mason Plumlee. We got a 220.5 total, 4.5 point spread in favor of the visiting New Orleans Pelicans. Meager, or a pretty medium to high total, and I'm with it. On the Pelican side, we're dealing with a team that is holding one of the league's worst defensive efficiencies. That's points per 100 possessions. We'll pull up the team metrics tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. And the New Orleans Pelicans have right there, bottom 10 in basketball in terms of points allowed per 100 possessions. You guys just saw what the Mavs were able to do. They don't run a fast pace, so maybe they feel a little bit better than they are. But no, that defensive rating is still doggone terrible. And the Detroit Pistons not far behind, so this should be a below average to low game when it comes to defense. We should up the points. And on the Pelican side, I think I'm immediately looking at Ingram and Zion. Those are the two for me. And I like Zion a little bit more. I do think his style of play can benefit here. The Pistons give up points everywhere, but they do give up an above average amount of points in the paint as well. So Zion's in a good spot. Him and Ingram, their price points don't really move too far from the mid to low AKs, and I think they've been producing us a shot at 40 fantasy points quite often. Maybe you want to squeeze the ceiling of 50 plus in tournaments, and maybe you haven't been getting that, but because of the floor, and I do think a little bit more upside because of this matchup, I'm willing to throw those guys in the mix, probably start them off as a tier 3. Lonzo Ball is a little bit interesting to me. I'm probably going to stay away at 7K, but certainly concede that a triple-double range of outcomes there for him. Off the bench here for the Pelicans, Josh Hart, I got him leading the bench in minutes, 27 minutes for him. He's 5'1", 4'7" on FanDuel and DraftKings respectively. At that price point, I'm really looking to push 30 fantasy points. He has that potential, and it does look like he does benefit if somebody gets in foul trouble. He's kind of the Swiss Army knife that they kind of put out there to fill a role at almost any position. So maybe you do play him. You have a little fun with the Valentine's Day narrative on the Pistons side. DeLon Wright is 6,400. I do think that there's a 30-plus fantasy point range of outcome for him on DraftKings. Jeremy Grant, why can't I quit you? He's still under 8K. He's in a spot where he's going against a bottom 10 defense. Will sustain the highest minutes and highest usage on the team. Blake Griffin has a range of outcomes where he's solid at 5K, but it's not very consistent. So if you have a wide risk tolerance today, go for it. And then we have Mason Plumlee projected in, but he has missed the last 2 games. So let me double check with the injury report to see if Mason Plumlee is got a chance at missing. Mason Plumlee right elbow bursitis is listed as questionable, with Plumlee sideline Friday. Isaiah Stewart. All right, so looks like there's still not a guarantee that Mason Plumlee starts or plays this game. And if he's unable to go, Isaiah Stewart on both sides still in play here at 4K, 3,600. I don't think it's a premier matchup by any stretch of the imagination, but the price, the opportunity cost, still a little bit too low as a big in a game that should produce plenty of rebound opportunities. I don't like necessarily to pick on Adams individually, but at that price point, I'll chip in a chair anyone. Sadiq Bey, 4,500. 4,400 on DraftKings. If we're playing the Valentine's narrative, you got to play your Bay, right? Saddiq Bey had a literal career game. He's a rookie for the Pistons last time out. I was salty because it was night 2 of a back-to-back, right? And Blake Griffin was somebody I projected to be out because of rest on a back-to-back, and I had Saddiq Bey in the pool, in the mix. And then when Blake Griffin got ruled in, I was like, all right, I guess I got to take out Saddiq Bey. And sure enough, 27 minutes for him, caught absolute fire, 10 for 12, 7 for 7 from behind the arc, dropped 50 smooth fantasy points with a double-double. I do think extra rebounds, you can create the propensity for those rebounds without Plumlee in the mix, and then he just caught insane fire. I don't know if those minutes are going to be something that we can rely on going forward. They do have a situation where maybe they are still seeking the usage and efficiency replacement for like a Derrick Rose, since trading him. Maybe Dennis Smith doesn't replace that 1-1. But 4,400, hey, maybe take a shot or two on Saddiq Bey and hope for the best. But I would really want 25 plus fantasy points to feel like I got a great deal. And I do think there's a high level of volatility involved if you're going to roster a guy like Bey here. Speaking of 7 threes, just a fun fact. Last night, Jeremy Lin hit 7 threes in the G League on 29 real points, so that was fun. What do you guys got on this one? Bear with me because I got to do chat a little bit different because, I don't know, for some reason it's not showing up on my dashboard. Quan says, getting snowed in with a Bay on Valentine's hit different, don't it? Yeah. I'm not really, I mean, I guess snow's in the forecast, but it feels more like iced in. And we're on the 2nd floor, and I don't want to touch them stairs, bro. My big butt will start tumbling down there. I look like Plinko, human edition. Ben said, look at my wish Bulls play. Gun, look at Grant numbers with Plumlee off the court. I think there's correlation. As far as him producing better, sure, we'll pull that up. Darius Mcrae, the night before I played Bay and he did nothing, the next night he goes off. That's DFS, man. There was a situation earlier in the season where I was on Bay, and I think it was against the Bucks, and I was like, it's a fast pace, he should go off, and he tanked. And then the literal very next time he played the Bucks, I believe, he went bananas, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. DKP by game log versus Bucks. Let's go last two. I'll go last 3 games because I think they played again since. My computer's going slow. Yeah, that's what it was. He got me 13 when I was hyped on him, 31 minutes. The next game, 24 minutes, he dropped 43. So I look like an idiot touting him here for 13. And then in the same spot and the same reasons why I liked him is why he went off the next game. So I feel your pain. 6 for 10 that second game. I feel your pain when it comes to Bay. All right, what we want to do, we want to check out Jeremy Grant without Plumlee. Sure, we'll pull that out on the on-off court tool. Let's go use Fantasy Labs here. Take off Mason Plumlee. My computer sounds so loud right now, and I'm wondering if it's downloading like an update to a game or something that I'm not going to use in the background. All right, so Jeremy Grant's usage rate without Mason Plumlee on the court is 27%. I don't feel like that's different than normal. We take Plumlee off the court. Jeremy Grant's at 26, so like all percent, but I don't really think that changes much. Jeremy Grant still sustains the highest usage rate on the team, like no matter what. It's just a matter of does he have a cold shooting night? And I think that's the difference. I think at this price point in this matchup, I'm fine with going back to Jeremy Grant. I concede that he's just like not. He's kind of like Malcolm Brogdon lately for me, where I just keep playing him because the numbers say play him, and the results are pretty volatile, wide range of outcomes. But I think 45 fantasy points at under 8K is a very realistic range of outcome here. But the floor of less than 30 is something that does exist. I think the last 2 spots were tougher matchups. Obviously, Boston, tough. Indiana is still tough. I think team defensive mindset. But those minutes and that usage, he should be doing better. It's the shot efficiency. 31% on 16 shot attempts, 23% on 17 shot attempts. If he hits some more shots, I mean, we get to double-digit real points, and then the peripheral should fall where they fall. And that's that's kind of the risk we're taking here. So Jeremy Grant would probably be a tier 3 for me as a starter when I'm creating my player pool, and then we move up or down from there, right? 150 lineups. Do you have any Blake Griffin? Yeah, in a 150 I do. In 50 or less, I don't know, but in 150, yeah, the matchup's too good to not have, a cap of 5-8% on Blake. See what happens. Last 2 games for Blake, 27-28. You could say that correlates better with the absence of Mason Plumlee, but his rebound numbers didn't really go up. Yeah, I think what we have to accept with Blake is just his shot volume is still going to be there, but his shot selection isn't as low risk as it used to be. I saw that he hasn't dunked the basketball since 2019. So like the majority of his shots are jumpers or threes, and that's just not what we remember. And I think we start pulling that a big man shooting jumpers just doesn't have the same type of floor as we're learning. And then this year I constantly equate him to LaMarcus Aldridge, where they just always seem too cheap. Sometimes it's going to work. A lot of times it's not. So 150, yeah, I got to have a little Blake here. If I get 25, 35 is my window, I'll go for it. If I didn't, if you faded Blake and he stayed under 40 in tournaments on this size slate, you're not dead. It's whatever. But I think if Plumlee's back in the mix, I don't have to really get too creative and up Blake ownership. Why is my computer so loud? Night before. All right. That's it for that one. You guys got any secret plays here? Josh Hart, that's about it. I don't see anything in my Discord. So, moving on. Toronto Raptors hosting Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota projects starting 5 for the T-Wolves. Ricky Rubio, Malik Beasley, Anthony crossing over with Anthony Edwards, Josh Okogie, Karl-Anthony Towns, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd taking on Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Aaron Baines, a 229.5 total, 8-point spread in favor of the home team, Toronto Raptors. A T-Wolves team limping into this game without D'Angelo Russell, but they do have Cat back. He's been back for a couple of games, and I think he raises a very, very interesting question on whether or not you want to roster him at 9.5, 9.4 today. I love them against the Hornets. He kind of underwhelmed from what my overzealous expectations were for him. 46. I was looking for 50 plus. Matchup here is tougher than the Hornets for sure, but we have seen some bigs against the Raptors kind of surprise us. If we look at the overall metrics here, Raptors aren't allowing a ton of points in the paint, but that's fine. Cat gets a lot of his points from jumpers, and he can shoot the 3 ball. And they also allow an elevated amount of blocks per game. So not that we think about Cat for blocks, but he is averaging 2 blocks a game so far this year. Limited sample size, hasn't played as many games as many other players. But I think there is a range of outcomes where Cat becomes a sneaky tournament play on this slate, and it just kind of gets lost in the sauce. Malik Beasley at 7-3 on both sides. That's a hard click. I'm looking for 40 plus. Can he get it? Sure. I just don't have the warm and fuzzies there. And I'm probably not dabbling too much with any of these supplementary T-Wolves players, but I completely understand if you guys want to go for it. I think Anthony Edwards is the probably the more intriguing option, but he becomes very, very high risk at 6K because I'm looking for 30 plus, and if I'm pretty sure the shot volume will be there. He is a chucker, but the efficiency is to be determined. He did shoot 9 for 21 against Charlotte, a softer matchup, but 16, 19. I think the shot attempts will be there, but you see they're not always efficient. 21% against OKC. I think he's a fun tournament play. I think 3 of his last 4 games I'd live with 34, 39, 41. Matchup here, I think, is more neutral than I would probably say any of the last couple. I guess the Clippers is a tougher matchup. He only took 9 shot attempts. Probably crossed up with Kawhi a little bit. Matchup here is probably a little bit more neutral. So if you want to take the gamble, go for it. I don't know if that anyone outside of Cat from the T-Wolves on this side slate is going to be introduced into my pool. And the Raptors, I really don't think there's a Raptor you could throw at me that I don't think makes sense today. OG Anunoby, I do have listed as questionable still. He's missed quite a chunk of time, so I'll try and get an update on his status. So let me pull up Toronto Raptors injury report. Toronto LeBronto. I'm sorry. Left calf listed as questionable. Be interesting if OG is immediately thrust into starting that in the first game. But all right, so he's still questionable, and there's still apparently a chance that he wouldn't even start if he is activated. And if he didn't start, we'd probably expect Norman Powell will start. However, Nick Nurse seemed to imply that Norman Powell will be returning to the second unit on Sunday versus Phoenix if Anunoby is able to return. And this is not Phoenix, so the date on that is the 13th. It seemed to imply that Norman Powell will return to second unit on Sunday versus Phoenix. I think whoever wrote this wrote the wrong team. The quote was, I think it's you just got to understand that you're playing well, you're probably in rhythm, you're probably in better shape. So Nurse, when asked how Powell can sustain the level of play he's seen as a starter, if asked to operate in a different role, quote, there are a lot of positives, and somehow you've got to get out of the narrative that starting is what created the positive change. Not really address it, just get out there and do what you've been doing, whether you're starting or not. So I guess all that verbiage that didn't lock him as a starter suggests that Nick Nurse isn't committed to the idea of Norman Powell being a starter. So a little bit of conflicting speculation from the two beat writers that provided those blurbs. If Anunoby is in, one thing I would be trying to speculate is, do I keep Boucher at the minutes that he has been playing? And I think there's a range of outcomes where some of these small ball units that they roll out with Siakam and Anunoby, potentially the 4 and 5, creating some overlap for Powell minutes. I think those could be that could be possible. And at the same time, I could just see straight up Chris Boucher continuing to play 25 minutes, starting second halves over Bain, stuff like that. He's seen just about 24-plus minutes in 4 games straight. He's a point per minute plus monster. He's almost 7K on both sides at this point, right? So I'm looking for 40 plus. I think that's in the range of outcomes. At least he's not in the 5K range where I don't feel like the pressure to play him is even greater, because if he hits, he hits. The matchup is pristine. The defense for the T-Wolves is going to be really, really bad. There's a game scenario where the Raptors just mightily handle the T-Wolves, and guys like Boucher just get extended run because the game being so lopsided. So several different ways to play this game. Like I said, anyone on the Raptors I think is in play. If you got Lowry, Van Vliet, even Siakam might get no ownership today. They're all in fantastic spots. Let's see what you guys got in the live chat before we move on. Adam says Cat at 9,300 is too cheap. Yeah, so the role for Cat, the usage for Cat is still awfully cheap. One thing I would say about Towns is he's producing well from what we've seen so far per minute. But it's not the same minutes that we're used to for Cat, right? 32, 31 minutes, both these games being pretty neutral. It's not like he's getting into foul trouble. I mean, this is a player that we were looking for 35, 36 minutes from in a normal game. So I don't know if Saunders is doing this to ease him back, or if that's that's just their new style. They're not trying to overexhaust their players, knowing that this season's kind of a waste. So wait and see on the minutes there. But per minute, he's producing at a fantastic rate. It's just, will he go back to 35, 36 minutes? What did he average per minute last year? Karl Anthony Towns, ESPN. I feel like he was like a 35-minute player last year, if not greater. And that's what we want to remember. We want to remember those minutes and the efficiency that he has now. It's kind of like we're seeing with Drummond. He's still being extremely efficient in his minutes. It's just the minutes have gone down. So last year, that's not showing. Let's go stats. Okay, so last year he was a 34-minute guy. So actually, I guess a little lower than I thought, but it was only 35 games, then 33. I'm going to get banned on YouTube now. Don't listen to that. I don't know. I like to see deeper minutes, but I still think the idea of a sub-10K catch up in 50 at low ownership makes sense to me. You guys do anything else with Timberwolves other than Cat? Has anybody got that feeling in their bad knee on Beasley at 7K being a good play? I'm probably staying away. I don't even think I'm going to dabble with some Rubio here. I think it's all Raptors. We likely get deep minutes from the Raptors to be able to satisfy the prices. The prices on the Raptors on both sides really cheap. 7,300 on Lowry. If I get 40, I'm happy. Van Vliet, I would want 45 plus, but it's still there. Shadow Stefan says Lowry over 5.5 assists. What do you think? So let's see. He's averaging 6.6. Where's my projections have him at? Lowry. I have him at 6.8 assists. So 5.5. I'd probably take that. I'd probably take it, Stefan. I don't really see. Where are you getting 5.5 at? Is that a prize pick or is that a DK Sportsbook? Because sometimes the DK Sportsbook will have soft prop lines, but then you gotta pay the vig on it. It'd be like 5.5, but it's minus 130. I'm just like, what? Let me see what you can get over here on Prize Picks. By the way, chat, Prize Picks code Gundacker to match your deposit up to $100 instantly. Lowry 6.5. So Prize Picks is a little bit tougher at 6.5. So I'd take that 5.5, Stefan. All right, let's move on to the next game. Charlotte Hornets hosting the San Antonio Spurs. Project starting five for the Spurs: Dejounte Murray, Derek White, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and Yakapurdo. Am I not Pirtle enough for the Pirtle Club? Pirtle up against the Hornets: Devontae Graham, LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, and Cody Zeller. 229 is our total 2-point spread in favor of the San Antonio Spurs. So a couple things to watch here for the Hornets. So I did speculate this lineup last time because it did sound like they wanted to do their 3-guard sets in a starting lineup earlier this season. And they moved Gordon Hayward to the 4. But it also coincided with P.J. Washington being out last game. So P.J. Washington is questionable again today. But watch to see if they stick with this lineup, because there is a loose chance that maybe PJ goes back to the 4 and one of the guards there goes back to the bench. But for now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think this Hornets lineup is pretty unique, and I like it. I ended up liking it more than I thought I would. Because I was really under belief that we had to get rid of one of these guards. For me, it was Terry Rozier. But Rozier came out and dropped 40-plus real points last game. Hayward's been solid. So we'll see if this is the lineup they stick with. When it comes to P.J. Washington, let me pull up the Charlotte injury news and notes. Did you guys hear the cat? Meow. PJ Washington's doubtful. Okay, so it looks like he's going to be out anyway, so this is probably the lineup we project. And with that being the lineup we project, I have 35-plus minutes on Melo, Rozier, and Gordon Hayward, and 32 on Devontae, splitting some minutes there, or saving some minutes there on the bench for Malik Monk, Miles Bridges. So I like the Hornets stack, as crazy as that sounds. 229 total, 2-point spread. I think Cody Zeller without P.J. Washington might be somebody whose responsibility gets heightened. I think only Biyombo is really the only logistical relief for him. We've seen P.J. Washington play backup center. So in neutral games, I think there's a range of outcomes for Cody Zeller to play upwards of 30 minutes. We saw him play upwards of 39, 34 a couple weeks ago. I don't think I would safely project that. I'm going to keep him at 25, 26 for now. But I still think there's some potential for his minutes to be a little higher than average. And then everyone else is completely in play here. I think I would be, just out of curiosity, go click the DVP chart here. Let me put all the teams back in the DVP chart for now and just kind of see San Antonio. San Antonio has really struggled this year against guards, small forwards, and a little bit average to below average against the front court. So, point guard. I know I have Devontae at the top, but LaMelo Ball seems like he's acting more as the true point guard here. So at 7-8 on FanDuel, 8-7 on DraftKings. I think this is kind of where his price is going to settle. I still don't think it's enough for me to be like, nah, I can't play him at that price, because I do think triple-double potential is in his skill set, and I think with PJ Washington out and Hayward getting those minutes at the 4, it's going to solidify Melo's minutes even more. And also the Martin brothers are out. Not that they were going to represent a ton of minutes, but Cody and Caleb Martin being out, just more minutes that you probably need Hayward to make up at the 4. So I think LaMelo is pretty safe. And at 37 minutes, with a potential triple-double here, even if it's just a double-double, I think I'm still there on Melo. I think 50 fantasy points is a range of outcome. So I'm going to stay with Melo exposure. I'm probably going to leave him at the tier 2 today. I had him tier 1 last game. And then Terry Rozier, man, if Terry Rozier comes out here and drops another 40 real points, then I just lose. I just tend to be the low guy on Terry Rozier. But if you guys have that feeling in your bad knee, you think this lineup is thriving to open up Terry Rozier, go for it. He will chuck threes. And he will chuck shots, so maybe I should be a little bit higher on him. But I think the 40 real points is what really did him in here. He's not going to offer a lot more peripherals. And he also caught 9 free throw attempts last game, which is definitely above his average. So I do think a lot went right for him against the T-Wolves. T-Wolves are much worse defense than just about any other team. So at 7.4, I'm probably going to be out on Rozier. But I think that's one of those plays where if it hit it again against the Spurs, I could see it. So if you like it, go for it. The Charlotte Hornets also give up a lot of points via the 3-ball, 45.2. I think that's amongst the most in basketball. Let me double-check that for you. 3 points allowed per game. The second most behind the Pelicans. So if you want to take a shot on some of the Spurs 3-ball shooters, maybe Murray, White, Mill, somebody like that. Dejounte Murray at 7.57K. I'm probably stepping away from that with Derek White in the mix. White does just enough to kind of make me worry about the ceilings of a Murray, of a DeRozan. And then, of course, they still got guys like Lonnie Walker and Patty Mills to eat some more time at the guard spot. So DeRozan has a strong shot, 7.6 AK, without Aldridge in a softer spot. He doesn't chuck threes, but I do think his volume, his usage is going to be high enough that 40-plus fantasy points is the range of outcomes, even 50. Now let's talk about Yakapurdo. Yakapurdo is probably going to be my favorite Spurs player to roster today. He's 5,800 on FanDuel, 64 on DraftKings. In spots where I think are that he's got a softer matchup, I think he can drop 40. Last time out against Atlanta, dropped 43 fantasy points. Against Golden State, the second night of a back-to-back, game got lopsided, only played 20 minutes, just wasn't going his way. But the night prior, 36, you see 40 there against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think this is a spot where Yakapurdo could be really, really serviceable on each side at this price point. I think the median range of outcome is probably 25, 30 fantasy points, but I think 40-plus is possible. I got him for 30 FanDuel points, 28 on DraftKings. I'd be okay with taking that floor and rolling the dice on some upside in this spot. Out of curiosity, what are the last 5 centers against the Charlotte Hornets? By the way, chat, my heater kicked back on, so kind of let me know if you're hearing a difference in audio quality. I'm not going to turn my heater off, but I just want to know out of curiosity, so I might be able to tweak something. But I could turn my gain up if needed. So Cat dropped 46 in 32 minutes. These are DraftKings points. J-Val dropped 40 in 29 minutes. Boogie 27-25. These are all centers against the San Antonio Spurs. So the matchup's definitely pristine. Rudy Gobert 27 minutes 38. So it's been a point per minute or greater matchup. I think Pirtle can thrive just fine. Might even get yourself a double-double here. So, yeah, give me Yakapurdo for sure. He's probably my favorite Spurs, point per dollar, and I'll just roll with it. What are you guys doing with this game? I feel like I like this game way more than I should. But I just think the Hornets, I love teams where we can get a high level of predictive value in terms of minutes to project. I think the Hornets have a whole team of 35-minute guys, especially without P.J. Washington, without the Martin brothers. I just think this is a really strong spot for the Hornets team to give us a high floor and minutes played, right? See what you guys got in the live chat on this one. What's up, Lorenza? Appreciate the Sunday stream. Hey, man, I appreciate you appreciating me. James Fenner says Rubio over 7.5 assists. I tell you what, that's probably too rich for my blood, just from my gut reaction. But just out of curiosity, what do I have Rubio for on projected assist? I have him at 6.6. So my gut didn't like it. My projections don't love it, and the matchup probably. I don't see deep minutes there. 7.5, no way. For me, I'm going no on that one. You're paying too much attention to the heater. I was just curious. Like I said, I wasn't going to turn it off. I'm just curious to see if the setup can restrict the noise pollution. G-Man, I feel like Keldon Johnson's the safest play tonight. The safest. I like Keldon Johnson. From a fantasy standpoint, I feel like at times he surprises people with 40s and 50s. Doesn't chuck like an excessive amount of threes. There are games where he will chuck, but double-digit shot attempts and some peripherals against the Hornets, that's not out of the range of outcomes here. 5,600, it's hard to stay safe when he's 30 or less in the last 5-6 games, but the upside is there, and he does have breakout games from here and there, so I certainly wouldn't push back on him being in the player pool, and I might have a game stack or two of this one. He's averaging 9 a game. Hayward just got ruled out. He was probable this morning. All right, that changes everything. Let's adjust. This is what we train for. Did they literally say he was probable? That's crazy. All right, chat. We'll tackle this live. We'll take Hayward out. Are they gonna go double big with like Biyombo? No, Bridges would start. Yeah, Miles Bridges. Man, this lineup's getting weird. Let me pull up labs here to corroborate for those of you guys lurking or watching on the go. Appreciate that, chat, though, especially when I'm solo. Gordon Hayward ruled out. But let me scroll down because I swear this morning, 3 hours ago, Gordon Hayward probable, and now he's been ruled out. What is the news reporting in NBA? Assuming P.J. Washington is still doubtful, leaving him out, I throw Miles Bridges in the mix. I can't adjust my projections right now because I'm live, but I'll probably put 35 minutes on him, and he might play 40, right? If we don't have P.J., we don't have the Martin boys. Let me look at this depth chart a little bit more. Biyombo. That's it, man. So we might put deep minutes on Zeller, deep minutes on Bridges. Just deep minutes on everybody. Let's run a usage check here. I do think significant shot attempts and real points leave the court without Hayward. So let's do some on-offs here. Let's take PJ. Let's take Gordon Hayward off. That's it for now. I guess we'll leave it like that. If we need to tie down stuff a little bit, we will. LaMelo leads the team at 27% usage and 125 minutes of sample size. Over fantasy point per minute. Terry Rozier's at 26.5%. Devontae's at 23%. Even Cody Zeller dropped to 19, but it's only 35 minutes. There's not like a ton of sample size here to go crazy with. But, I mean, just process of elimination, Gordon Hayward represents quite a bit to replace. So I'm going to type him in here real quick. He's averaging over 20 real points per game and a couple per riffs. So no Watson, no Hayward. Miles Bridges is probably going to be trending as one of the higher owned plays on both sites now because he's at 5K. He does work well with LaMelo. They had some synergy working off the bench together, and we saw a big game out of Bridges starting for PJ when I think Devontae was out. 32, 31, 34. Yeah. Do I have to change my Terry Rozier stance? Ooh, don't make me do it. This is fun. I'm having fun. We're having fun. Is Graham playing? I got Graham in right now, but I guess you could. I don't even think I have Graham from the injury report. Yeah, I think Graham's in. He played the last game. What do you think about Ball over 18.5 points now without Hayward? Yeah, I'd be there on that. Matter of fact, we love Prize Picks, but they tend to be a little bit slower than the books on adjusting their lines, and they don't ever just pull stuff off. So if you guys do have Prize Picks, and use code GUNDACKER when you sign up to instantly match your deposit up to $100, and maybe right now they have them at 18.5. Is that what you had, 18.5? Maybe you go take advantage of the Hayward news ASAP. You start making some mellow cards, and maybe even look for like Rozier and Devontae on the card as well. Do they have those two listed? I guess I'll Control F. Rozier. They do. They're Rozier at 19.5, and they don't have Graham listed. So, yeah, if you like that bet, you want to take advantage of that, maybe go there ASAP and throw those guys in some cards. I don't think would Bridges be. They don't have Bridges. I was gonna say Bridges rebound would probably be nice too. I really think there's a chance Miles Bridges plays like 40 minutes today. Just looking at this depth chart and looking at active players for the Hornets. So at 5K, I think Miles Bridges should probably be a tier 1, and I think he'll just fall into high ownership. They might run a 3-guard line. They will. They don't have a choice. They were probably going to do that anyway, but now they don't have a choice. Also, another guy that might be fun is Malik Monk off the bench. He might do all the usage, and he'll probably just spell everyone one at a time. So his minutes, I got him at 22 minutes. I might end up pushing Monk to like 30 minutes. And at 4,400, that could be fun. Just want to mention that. Just kind of thinking. Rozier, Graham, Ball, Bridges, and Zeller. Yeah, I like that. What's up, Crispy? Happy Valentine's Day. All you need is love. Faith, hope, and love. But the greatest is love. Ball should play 37, 40 minutes if no foul trouble. I agree, Lorenzo. I love all of the Hornets here. The minutes should be there. I do think that 2-point spread here for San Antonio, keep an eye on that. That might move up a couple points here with Hayward being down. It seems like San Antonio is always in a blowout one way or the other. But on the road here, catching the Hornets at home, I think this game has a stronger case to stay competitive. But I'm still going to be a firm investor on Yakapurdo here. But I think literally all of the projected starting 5 for the Hornets will probably be in my player pool. And then Malik Monk, somebody to look at too. Stefan says, Ball over 6.5 assists or 18 points. 6.5 assists easily. But where are you getting these lines? There's no way Ball. Are these like alternate lines? 7 assists here. Shadow, you're getting some soft lines, man. Abuse them. Yeah, I take the over on 6.5 all day, every day. I mean, I would take both, but the 6.5 assists seems safer. Some good lines, though. What's your book, man? Are you using alternate lines? Are you paying vig on those numbers too? Like, is it even money for 6.5 over, or is it like minus 130, 150? Let's move on to the next game while that game settles. Dallas Mavericks hosting the Portland Trailblazers. Project starting 5 for the Blazers: Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Derek Jones Jr., Robert Covington, and they hate us because they ain't us canter. Taking on Luka Doncic, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, Kristaps Porzingis. 236 our total. 5-point spread in favor of the home team, Dallas Mavericks. You guys already know what we're doing with the Blazers. We look at Dame Dollar, making money ain't new to him. 9,500 on Damian Lillard's FanDuel price tag, 9,600 on DraftKings. The Dallas Mavericks lately, their offense has showed up, and that's kind of covering the fact that their defense is still pretty porous. And so I think Damian Lillard's in a fantastic spot to drop another 50, 60 fantasy points. Dallas Mavericks bottom 6 in defensive rating on the season. And I think Damian Lillard should be somebody I can play at will with the value that has opened up and the value that already exists due to the size of the slate. I got him projected for a smooth 50 fantasy points on both sides. On both sites, so at the price point, I'm not missing out on Damian Lillard. Also, I like Gary Trent Jr. under 6K. I think his shot volume is really, really high. Chucks a lot of threes, and he's being preceded by a lot of successful shooting guards in the last week or so that have dominated for fantasy against the Dallas Mavericks. He's giving you a puncher's chance at 30 fantasy points really every game. That 13 against Milwaukee, what are you going to do? Still took 13 shots, just didn't hit. I think Gary Trent under 6K, yeah, give him to me. Give me my 30 fantasy points, and I think in this spot, potentially even more. And then looking at that front court, Kanter's got a chance to make some lineups for me on a 6,600 price tag on FanDuel. 7-2 on DK, I'm a little bit more hesitant, but I still think he's going to be probably a tier 3 for me on DK and possibly a tier 2 on FanDuel. And I'm probably not going too creative with the bench here. Even Melo at 5'3", 5'7", we just got Miles Bridges, so I don't see myself really getting to Melo much. On the Mavs side, Luka, Porzingis, you handcuff them, and you hope you get 140, and they just might, right? Both these guys are the two Mavs that have. I got 60 fantasy points essentially on Doncic, 40 on Porzingis. Porzingis is probably still a little bit too cheap. I like going against Kanter, and I like those two doing the workload. I think in the past couple years, earlier this season we had Kyrie, KD, put them together for 100 plus. We've had Westbrook, KD, we've had Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi, Paul George, like two guys that just do everything for the team. You put them together, and they make fun handcuffs for DFS, and that's what Luka and Porzingis are for me. Luka, you got to go up there and get him 11K, but I still think 60-plus fantasy points will give you a shot at high money tonight, especially as more and more value opens up. The rest of the Mavericks here, I'm probably not dabbling with. I really don't have a case to make on, the minutes are there for Jay Rich and DFS, but I think those are really more, if you play them, you hope for a little bit of positive variance going your way. Or you just got that feeling in your bad knee. Just give me Luka and Porzingis here. Let's see what you guys got before we move on. All alleys meet bridges at the rim. Yes, sir. Ball, man, I am from Europe. Oh, you're from Europe, Stefan? Okay. All right, so your books are a little bit softer. Romania. That sounds scary, man. Make sure you're paying your bookie. No concrete shoes. What up, Sean? Mavs too good versus point guards lately? Let's put some context to that, shall we? Last couple point guards. Lonzo Ball dropped 33 DKP in 33 minutes. And in that game, let me pull up Portland's matchup specifically. I swear my computer must be downloading an update. Lonzo Ball dropped 33.5 in 33 minutes, while Bledsoe dropped 30 and 33 in the same game. Neither one of those guys I would consider ridiculously high usage or high near Dame, right? The game prior, Trae Young dropped 62. Kevin Huerter dropped 41. So the guard combo of Huerter and Trae Young dropped 100. So you can give me Dame and Gary Trent for that. D'Angelo Russell only played 6 minutes and dropped 8. Malik Beasley played 35 minutes as the de facto point guard, dropped 57. Steph Curry dropped 75. And then 41. In the game prior, Oubre dropped 60. So I don't really think the Mavs have been good against anything, but especially not against guard. So I'm not really away from Damian Lillard, right? Not a good matchup at all. It seems like it's a great matchup, Sean. Gustavo, I've been taking shots on Giles all year. I think he can get that 30 points I'm looking for tonight. All right. Strider says, you don't know what you're talking about, big shot. You cost me $5K 2 nights ago. You should be ashamed. What? What did I do? Trae Young was shut down completely by Mavs. No, he wasn't. Trae Young was not shut down. No. Trae Young got in foul trouble early on. They double-teamed him, but he still almost hit value. I know what you're talking about. He still was over a fantasy point per minute, and then he came back the next game and dropped 60 fantasy points on him. So I think, Sean, you might be a little too attached to one below-average game from Trae Young. The Mavericks have just been a bad defense, and they're giving up a ton of threes. 40.8 points via the three ball per game this season. That's, I think, top 5 who go to points via the three ball allowed. Dallas is top 6 in points given up from the three. So I don't know, Sean. I think you might just be remembering that one game that Trae didn't go massive with 50 plus, but he still had 40 plus that game. What's up, Giuliano? Strider HD is pure. I don't know who that is, but if you let me know how I cost you $5K, let me know. Otherwise, I feel like you might just be a troll that has nothing better to do. Let's move on to the next game. Actually, out of curiosity, where's Dallas on the DVP chart for shooting guards? Anything? Shooting guards on the season looks like they're one of the better matchups. And then lately, they've tanked against point guards. It's Damian Lillard, y'all. I don't know what we're talking about. It's Damian Lillard. Play him. Bucks at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Project starting 5 for the Bucks. Dante DiVincenzo, Bryn Forbes, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez taking on Ham Diallo, Lou Dort, Kenrich Williams, Darius Baisley, and Al Horford. 229s are total. 11.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Milwaukee Bucks. The Thunder are still without SGA, and they're going to be without Maladon. The bench is a little bit longer now, but it's not as long as they would like. Matchup-wise, if the Thunder stay competitive, it's going to be on the backs of Horford, Diallo, and then role players like Roby and Kenrich might step up, and Baisley, of course. But I at least am happy to see the prices up on the Thunder, so I don't feel as compelled to jam in Horford here. He's almost 7K. 40 plus is unfortunately still a range outcome here, and he is a guy that can shoot the mid-range. No, actually, buddy, I play nightly, and your takes are usually way off, especially a couple nights ago. Just tell you to look over things. Oh. Yeah, get him out of here. I literally never seen that. I'm looking at his chat log. He's never said anything in this chat before. So, bye, bye, Felicia, bye. Anyway, Thunder chat. What are you guys doing with the Thunder today? I feel like I want to stay away. I want to believe in the blowout, and at the same time, I don't even know if the blowout prevent some of these guys from playing deep minutes. Horford's really the guy that I'm meditating on because he does have 40-plus fantasy point potential here in his role without Maladon and SGA in the mix. But I don't want to force it. I want to push it. And then Diallo is at that price. It's like, man, I'd probably just go and stack the. Like Diallo versus Terry Rozier is more uncomfortable than I want it to be, but I'd probably go Rozier, right? On the Bucks side, Giannis Antetokounmpo has just been dropping smooth 60s every slate. Put it in your lineup if you want to. Last slate, I had higher hopes for Chris Middleton against the Utah Jazz. I'm willing to have a goldfish memory here, and I'm also willing to go back to that Middleton over 6.5 assist prop bet that killed me last slate. But we'll pull up the Milwaukee Bucks. Ugh, got the hiccups. And let's take off Drew Holiday. I guess I buried the lead. Drew Holiday's still out for the Bucks. When Drew Holiday is out, or off the court rather, Chris Middleton's assist rate goes to 35%. Giannis's goes to 34%. To put that in perspective, when we put Drew back, just the general assist rates, it's 26% on Middleton and 25% on Giannis. So about a 10% jump for both of them when Drew Holiday's off. And because of that, I do like to go get some action on the assist props for those two. So to put that in perspective on the season, Giannis is averaging 5.6 assists per game, Middleton 6.2, and that's full season sample size with and without Drew, but mostly with. So if we go to a site like Prize Picks and we pull up their assist props, I'm going to control F Antetokounmpo. He's at 6.5. So his assist prop is almost one higher than his season average. I still think he can get that. And then Middleton's assist prop is 6.5, which is about his season average with and without Drew Holiday. In 2 of the last 3 games without Drew Holiday, Middleton's assist has been over 10. That last game against Utah just showed up and showed out. So I'm willing to go back and put a little action on Chris Middleton. If you guys want to do something like that as well, and you don't have access to the DK Sportsbooks or the FanDuel Sportsbook, you can actually play on Prize Picks and bet on player props. And this is, I think, another way to hedge and reward your research. You can bet on Fantasy Score, over-unders on the Fantasy Score, and their scoring is the same as FanDuel. You can bet on single stats, points, assists, and rebounds. And this is kind of where I dabble a little bit more. I like some of the assist props. We've already talked about LaMelo, Chris Middleton, Giannis a little bit. I think we can go crazy with some of those Hornets, and you can make yourself parlay cards. So just for an example, I'm going to click these two. These are not picks that I'm on, but when you click on some picks here, it'll create your card on the side. And by the way, it doesn't just have to be NBA. You can play on hockey as well today. They do have NASCAR. They have all the different sports, but right now it's just hockey and NBA because that's what's live today. You can make a 2-card parlay prop pick, and they give you 2 options. The flex play, which is less of a higher reward, but it gives you a softer landing if you miss one, or the power play, which means you have to get both of them right, but you get 3x your entry on a 2-pick card, and then if we run that to a 3-pick card, you get 5x. If you power play that, means you have to get all 3 right, but you can soft the landing and make it a double up. You can go 4 and make it 10x your picks, which is really where the parlay fun begins. And I do think their lines get a little bit softer and adjusted a little bit later than Vegas. And then you can go all the way up to 5. However, on a 5-pick card, you can only run it as a flex play, which is fine. You can still 10x your entry, but kind of round robin it a little bit. So go check out Prize Picks. I told you guys we partnered with Prize Picks. I definitely think you guys should take advantage of this. If you sign up using code GUNDACKER, they will instantly match your initial deposit up to $100. If you just want to try it out, put $10 on it. They'll make that $10 into $20 if you use code GUNDACKER. But if you want to put a little bit more juice on it, you can deposit up to $100, and your $100 becomes $200. And you can go out there and mix and match some of your favorite individual player props today. Like I said, we're already doing the research on the matchups and totals and stuff like that. And sometimes if we put that research into practice on DFS, somebody else like a Sadiq Bey comes in and they take that $100K from us, but we can still kind of bet on the research that we're doing by placing some action on player props individually. So check them out, prizepicks.com, code GUNDACKER, and hopefully you guys crush it. Let's pull up the main display again. It's a fun day. Give him his bags. Let's go, baby. Let him out of there. Stop acknowledging the trolls. I mean, I don't. So I definitely ain't like if somebody we get trolls here where they're just clearly trolls. But if somebody came at me and they're like, "Hey, you cost me money on this," I'm curious. Let me know what I did, and I've never seen that name before. I'm not trying to hide from stuff. Obviously, chat. I don't have I'm not batting 1,000 when it comes to picks. No one is. So it's just kind of weird. But I'm not trying to give him any airtime. I was just genuinely curious. G-Man, hey, Gun, help me win over 1K on Monday. Yeah, we have way more success stories than not. But even then, like, we all understand we're responsible for the bullets that we shoot. And most of the time, if you guys ever ask me a question, I don't like to... When someone asks me what these streams are, it's really not me giving advice. I don't want to... I always try to stay away from that. I'm really just doing research for myself and telling you guys what I would do. Really, if you listen to how I phrase stuff, it's like, I'm probably not going there, blah, blah, but if you got that feeling, like, I'm not trying to make your decision. So I don't know what that guy was on, but it is what it is. What up, Shane? How you doing, bro? I like Diallo, but Dort seems like a sneaky play guy. He's getting minutes. They're all getting minutes. Pete says Milwaukee just lost to Utah. I see them getting right, smashing. I can see that. Gustavo matriculating a Middleton lock. Let's go. Goldfish memory on that one. Solid picks. OG Bobby Portis. You went OG? OG. Bobby Portis is really cheap. And if you got this game blowing out, Portis is already a guy that I got him at 21 minutes. If he produces at his efficiency, which could be a point to 1.2, 1.5 fantasy points per minute, he could absolutely drop a sneaky 40 if the game got lopsided. So I like that call a lot. I do, especially if you believe in a little bit more of a lopsided game. Pete says, I like Middleton, Giannis, and Portis. I see Milwaukee put up 140 on the Thunder. It's very possible. Ugank Sharma. How many and what Hornets players to get? All of them. And normally I would probably set a rule to not have more than 3 in a lineup, but I would not be stunned if 4 in a lineup hit value like the Pacers did last night. But probably 3, right? Oh, what's up, Danny? Good morning, babe. That's a cartoon me, and I wasn't expecting to see that when I woke up and lurked in chat. We had to. It's Valentine's Day, chat. If you guys are late, it's we get fun with the green screen. I had that ordered. I paid an artist to make a Disney-inspired cartoon of me and my old lady. So that's what that is for today. So good morning, old lady, and happy Valentine's Day. Cherish your old ladies today, boys. Do they use FanDuel scoring? They use FanDuel scoring. And if you guys are VIPers, I actually have in the player props tab the scoring that they use over here in the fantasy points. So if you're just kind of curious what our projections are or my projections are versus what the line is, you can compare it to them, and also have points, rebounds, assists, all that good stuff in the props tab. So kind of making it easier. I will need to sweep all of those projections when I get off the air to really compensate for the Gordon Hayward stuff, right? Ben snapping. Yo, Gunn, Anderson or Porter? Kyle Anderson or Michael Porter? I'm thinking Michael Porter, but we'll talk about that one. To your opinion, I think most people understand. Yeah, I think I'm pretty laid back about that, right? Cantor, 12.5 rebounds or Cantor, 12.5 rebounds or over 13.5 points. Choose one. Probably would go after the rebound prop, but I'm not warm and fuzzy on either one of them. Do my projections disagree or agree? For rebounds and points, I have Cantor at 13.9 points, 13.6 rebounds. So I guess technically the rebounds give me a point margin of difference between the line you have and my projections. So probably the rebounds, but it's tough. All right. Got a great mind watching your stream. Man, Sean V used to give some awesome heck with great takes. Is Sean a streamer? Sean, you stream? Yo, if there's any DFS content creators that are looking to collab, like really, if you actually have a channel you're grinding and you're putting up content, I'm always welcome, one, to help you grow your channel, but two, have a co-host on here and talk some picks. So if you guys are that, if you're watching, I don't have no ego, and I support everyone. If you go to my channel, I list like all the DFS channels that I know of that are people just grinding honest content. So if you're out there and that's you, hit me up on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker, and we'll find a spot for you to jump in here. MCW, Fournier, Al Lorenzo, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's move on to the next game, which is the Orlando Magic at the Phoenix Suns. Project starting 5 for the Magic: Cole Anthony, Evan Fournier, James Ennis, Gary Clark, and Nikola Vucevic. up against Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Frank Kaminsky, and DeAndre Ayton. We got 213 total, a 10-point spread in favor of the home team Phoenix Suns. Orlando Magic have been limping along on this road stretch, and we don't know who they will or will not have officially tonight, but all eyes are on Cole Anthony and Evan Fournier's status. We'll go pull up the Orlando Magic injury report and kind of see if that will give us any clues. I feel like it won't, but we can only control what we can control, right? Orlando. Cole Anthony, questionable with a right shoulder strain. He has missed each of Orlando's last 2 games, with Frank Mason and MCW serving as the starter in his absence. Mason is listed as out for Sunday, so if Anthony can't go, then look for MCW to make another start. That's from the NBA Injury Report and NBA Sports Edge. Evan Fournier, back spasms. James Ennis, groin. Al-Farouq Aminu, knee, are all also questionable. Fournier's missed the past 4 games for Orlando, and he hasn't been practicing, so we say he's a bit closer to doubtful for this game. Ennis tweaked his groin during Friday's game, so he also feels closer to doubtful. And if both Ennis and Fournier are out, Chuma Okeke could get a spot start, and there would be more opportunity for Terrence Ross on offense. If Anthony is forced to spend another game on the sidelines, MCW would be headed for another start. So this is a 9 p.m. game, and the Orlando Magic could make things weird, mama. So if we presume more of the same, which Fournier out, Cole Anthony out. On the last slate, I was off of MCW because it was reported that he was on like a significant minute restriction or whatever, and we basically got okey-doked in that regard. 4,700 for him today, but he got 27 minutes in his first game since January 4th and was extremely efficient. 7 boards, 7 assists, and 20-plus real points, 8 free throw attempts. Would hate to feel like I'm chasing that, but the minutes right now could be his to lose. Would really appreciate some more clarity in a timely manner on this Magic situation. Feel like we may not get it, but who knows? Maybe a Sunday, slow news day, we get the reports. If one of Fournier Anthony's in, we start playing the in and out game. Both of them are in play. If Ennis is out and the 2 guards are out, I mean, this is a tough spot. The Phoenix at home is a tough matchup. They'll be full strength, it looks like. If we look at their defensive efficiency, Phoenix Suns are top 8 in defensive efficiency. The Magic offensive efficiency has to be really, really rough. Last 2 games for them, and I'll be honest, they caught a break against the Kings. They did. Darren Fox and Marvin Bagley were out, so they were able to go and beat up on the Kings. I think this Suns team is going to be a little tougher. So I don't know that I feel like I might just be staying away from Vucevic, even though mathematically our projection system's going to like him. The usage rate's going to be high. At 10K, I'm probably stepping backwards and hoping that a Suns defense can step up and contain here. But I definitely feel like I would want a couple of shots of like a T-Ross or even an MCW if we knew that these guys would be out. And even Chuma might be a play if Ennis were to be rolled out. So this is going to be the headache of the night to watch. But at the end of the day, it's still a 213 total. It's 2 slow-paced teams. The Suns have a grindier defense. It's a double-digit point spread. So I do feel like it's not a bad process to maybe just avoid this game, even if you even if midway through the slate we did get some news that opened up some minutes for MCW or whatever. I mean, the Sacramento Kings is like the worst defense, and now we're flipping it to a top 10 defense. I don't know. I don't think I'm investing in Vooch tonight. T-Ross would be a curious click on FanDuel, but I would really need some news to make me feel a little bit better. On the Suns side, are you guys into any Suns here? Mid-7Ks for Chris Paul, Devin Booker. I really need 40-plus here. I don't really have anyone on the Suns projected for extreme ROI based on their salary. So I might just be really off of this game. Maybe Dario Saric is a curious play at 3,800 on both sites. I got him for 18 minutes. little bit around 5-6x value, maybe a couple extra minutes if the game got lopsided and Sarge gets 22 minutes and drops to 25, something like that. I don't know. I might be the low man on this game, you know. Let's see what you guys got before you move on. Good morning, my love. Happy Valentine's Day. Oh, I'll do the heart. Lorenza, blah, blah, blah. Happy V-Day, Miss. Aw. Sean says, I'll probably start doing videos for baseball. I haven't done it yet, probably. All right, yeah, man. Let me know if you guys started. Baseball. We definitely need some sharp baseball minds putting out content and keeping passion. Lorenz, tough being a Magic fan, not knowing who to pick every night in DFS. It is, man. It is. It's a rough stretch, man. You guys cannot keep guards healthy right now. T. Ross puts up a lot of shots, but not consistent. Yep. Fade game, con fade net, resemblance. How old are you, kid? I am 12. Pete says, I have been playing Chuma. He got me 20 plus twice and 8 versus the Kings, but he's getting minutes. And if Ennis is down, I could see it. Yo Gun, Miles Bridges over 12.5 points. What do you think? Yeah, I'd probably take that. I think 40 minutes is there from him. He's averaging 10 points on the season. We're taking Gordon Hayward out for 20 points. We don't have P.J. Washington. 40 minutes. We don't have the Martins. I'd probably take 12.5 for Bridges. Your wifey sent something through the chat. I think I saw it, right? Yeah, I saw it. Thank you, my love. Booker's due for 50 bomb points. I don't know about it. I mean, he got those 50 bombs. If you're talking about fantasy points without Chris Paul. I don't know. I just think this is a slow-paced matchup. Grinded out defense for the Suns. If you got that feeling in your bad knee on Devin Booker being the guy at 8K, you know we're in not far from Melo. We're at DeMar DeRozan territory. Guys like that. I mean, go for it, man. But I'll probably click the X button on this game when the dust settles, unless I had definitive news like 30 minutes before lock to have a solid pool carved out. Because the bigger the slate, man, the more I need to be confident in the pool that I'm creating. And even if like MCW at almost 4,700 on DraftKings, there's a real range of outcomes where that turns into a raw Neto play and he drops 18, 20 because it's the Suns, because it's not the Kings. So I'm treading with caution. But if the Magic end up with like an 8-man rotation or 8 active players, I understand wanting to take a deeper look here. Let's move on to the next game here. Denver Nuggets hosting the Los Angeles Lakers. Project starting 5 for the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Marc Gasol taking on Jamal Murray, Monte Morris, Michael Porter Jr., Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic. So we got a 217 total, a 3-point spread in favor of the visiting Lakers. Man, the trolls are out today, ain't they? Get them out of here. But appreciate you making the burner accounts coming back and giving the channel some views and chat activity, helping us out, man. I do appreciate that. I do. It helps. So Gary Harris is out and Will Barton out. And then I have a Q tag on Jamal Murray. So let me get to the bottom of that one. It says Jamal Murray's questionable to play on Sunday against the Lakers with a left ankle sprain. It's unclear if the ankle injury will sideline him, but if it does, the Nuggets are short on shooting. PJ Dozier and Gary Harris will both sit out on Sunday with injuries, and Will Barton is out for personal reasons. Monte Morris and R.J. Hampton could be in for big opportunity if Murray sits, but neither are must-plays. My gut reaction is if Murray can play, he'll play. It's the Lakers. It's a statement game. And it's only a 3-point spread, and I think we have AD in, right? I feel like the spread would be a little bit more wavering without Murray. And even then, that seems a little soft. So I'm going to lean that Murray's in, and that's how I'd probably approach the lineup and pool creation as of now. But if he's out, I mean, it's all the minutes guys like Monte Morris can handle. Jokic will definitely be a facilitator here. But I think defensively, the Nuggets take a giant step backwards. Michael Porter Jr. would likely just get crucified out there, cross it up with LBJ. I just wouldn't see a high range for this to be a 3-point game if Murray was out with Barton, with guys like that. So I don't know. I probably just prepare and plan for Murray to be in, but even if he's in, I'm not really targeting him per se. I will say there's a case to be made for Murray if you're a fan of recency bias. The point guard position has really done just fine against the Lakers in the last week or so. John Morant dropped 42 fantasy points in 36 minutes. Ham Diallo dropped 43 in 38 minutes. I mean, we know that there's a little bit more substance to why and how that happened, but the fact remains that the position did well. SGA dropped 56 in 42 minutes. I think that was a double OT game. DeLon Wright, another big OT game, 46 minutes, dropped 43. And Jamal Murray, 37 minutes, dropped 33. So at 6,500, there's a case for mid-30 fantasy points as a range of outcomes for Murray, especially when we up the minutes just even more with no Barton, no Gary Harris, and stuff like that. So I do think there's a case for Jamal Murray if he played, but he's not somebody I'm just going to risk it all for. So probably a tier 3 if I was running 100 plus. But in 50 or less, maybe even 20 or less, I don't see myself getting there on FanDuel. I'm easily just going to invest in like LaMelo and Damian Lillard, guys like that. But I still think I could argue that it's a good spot. Michael Porter Jr. is an interesting decision. If the Nuggets were a little bit more full-staffed, I'd be worried about Mike Malone kind of benching him for making some bad defensive mishaps. But without Barton, without Gary Harris, I wonder if Mike Malone really could bench him. Does Michael Porter at 5'8", 5'9", get a chance to run out there for 30-plus minutes and be kind of the scoring that this team will need if they're going to stay competitive against the Lakers? I mean, at best, it's a bad matchup, but minutes and opportunity would be there for him. I think if we 1v1 him on FanDuel, I think, is Miles Bridges a small forward on FanDuel? No, he's a power forward. Okay, I was going to say maybe Miles Bridges versus him would be the guy I'd rather play. But, man, under 6K, the minutes and shot volume just might be there for MPJ to try and help this team stay competitive. So that'd be one. I'd be interested to see where the room's at, chat. Do you guys have aspirations on rostering Michael Porter Jr. tonight? Let me know. And then Monte Morris seems like he's going to be a safe shot at 30-plus minutes. No Gary Harris, no Will Barton. Got to make up those minutes, the minutes he's already had. And a matchup like this, I think they lean on Monte more than they lean on, like, Campazzo and Hampton. So Monte Morris will probably project really well at 41, 4,200 on FanDuel and DraftKings respectively. I got him right there on the north side of 20 fantasy points. So if Murray were to end up being out or if he started and he went down, something like that, Monte Morris just seems like the minutes will be his to lose here. LeBron and AD. AD is dangerously cheap on DraftKings at 9,300. 50-plus fantasy points from him would not be a shocker. And then LBJ, 10-4, 10-2. I'm 36. I tell you, where are we at on LeBron, Chad? I think LeBron, a lot of his big games lately have come against, a succession of overtime games against really, really, really weak teams, a stripped under team, a stripped Detroit team, Memphis. I'm curious to see if at 10-2, putting LeBron after the stretch of games that he had and the minutes that he's played, at 10-2, do we put him at 50 fantasy points? And if we do we just put that money into like a Damian Lillard or something like that? I don't know. I have the warm and fuzzies on this spot here. I want to believe. I have him at 49 DKP. I think I'm staying away. I think I just test my my shots with the 8. I love the mid-range today. I do. I even love that Damian Lillard's under 10K. Let's see what you guys got. G-Man says Green's supposed to take minutes from Barton, but I don't know. JaMychal Green stretching out? I can see that. I actually have JaMychal Green at a really decent amount of minutes. Same with RJ Hampton. Remember a gun when the hating don't work, they go telling lies. It is what it is. I'm very transparent. We not out here using fake names, man. You guys are getting my face, my real name. And I've been here for what, half a decade now? If I haven't left yet, that means I'm chilling, right? A lot of people come and gone, but Gunn's still chilling. Lorenzo says, yes, Porter, Morris, and Joker. You like that? 217 total? All right. I'm with it. I think Jokic is a strong debate, too. 10-6, 10-7. The matchup against the Lakers, statistically, if we're just looking for fantasy points allowed, really, really rough, really, really tough. But Jokic, a little bit of a do-it-all. He's going to have to facilitate. I think, this is going to be one of those play-up games for him. And I think if he has a bad game, this game probably isn't close. So I'm very curious to see where the field's at on Jokic. 60 from Jokic would be really nice. If you guys got into a spot at the util when you're got enough salary for the Lukas, the Jokic's, the Giannis's, man, do you guys ever land Jokic here? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I'm just curious where you guys would be construction-wise, right? Ben Stabber says, Green keeps showing up on my optimals. Should I fade him or be on board? So, JaMychal Green seems like he's going to have to be their Swiss Army knife, meaning he could play some backup 4, some backup 3. I also think Paul Millsap will have to stretch out. I got him at 30 minutes. I usually don't put him at 30. But I think JaMychal Green at 4-4, 4-2, it's not going to be a fun play when you click his name, but I do think there's validity and reasoning behind it to support rostering him tonight, and usually a spot that I wouldn't, just because I could see a spot where if MPJ just gets destroyed on 3 possessions in a row by LBJ, Mike Malone will probably get the whistle blown and sit him down, and then JaMychal comes in, and then just in general, JaMychal's there to play backup 3, backup 4 it anyway. So I think the minutes will be there. It's just whether or not you feel strongly enough for him to accomplish fantasy efficiency in those minutes, and I think we can. We've seen him do it. Out of curiosity, JaMychal Green DKP by game log with 25 minutes, and let's pull a sample of 60 games. Let's see what comes up. 18, 26, 27, 28, 25. So there's 2 games where he's gotten us less than 25 fantasy points. He even pulled out 28 minutes against the Lakers earlier this month and got you 26. So, yeah, man, if you're happy with that, it's kind of your benchmark. Sure. I think JaMychal Green will make my value player pool. I'm fine with it. Yes, bro. Been down for a while. I will, bro. Yes, sir. I would get in the warm and fuzzies on Cody Zeller gun. I don't mind that. I don't think there's any of the front end Hornets. I think they're fine. I think they're all going to play extremely deep minutes. And I also think Malik Monk is really fun off the bench there. The first man up to really spell 1 through 3, right? So I don't got no pushback. And then with Cody Zeller, PJ Washington was playing backup center minutes, kind of giving him a little break. He's out. And Bismack Biyombo, don't really ever put deep minutes on him. The Caleb, Cody, Martin out. I think there's a chance Zeller might surprise us with minutes played tonight. So I don't think you're lost in the desert on that one, Giuliano. Let's move on to the next game. Cavaliers at the Los Angeles Clippers. Project starting 5 for the Cavs. Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, Tarin Prince, Andre the Giant Drummond taking on Patrick Beverley, Reggie Jackson, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, and Serge Ibaka. We got a 221 total, and the home team Clippers favored by 11 and the hook. Big time sizable spread. And I think Kawhi Leonard deserves some reflectioning. I've been all about Kawhi without Paul George, and you guys know why. We'll pull it up. Kawhi Leonard, gosh dang, I can't spell today. Whoa. Whoa, gun. Kawhi Leonard, DKP by game log. Let's go 15 games without Paul George. Just gotta show you the campaign of production for fantasy without Paul George. I mean, look at this. There's a 36 in there. Everything else is 48 DraftKings points or greater. Like, the floor is so high. The average floor, the average production is so high without Kawhi that even in a double-digit spread game, he's the reason. Like, he's the catalyst. So I really, when I think about, I was just debating LeBron James, right? Like, for cheaper and under 10K, do I just go Kawhi Leonard, who will absolve a ton of usage no matter what? I know the pace is going to be a lot slower. But still, no matter what, it just seems like there's a large enough sample to me to trust in Kawhi. I got him right at 50 fantasy points. Do I tier 1 him? Kawhi Leonard's averaging over half a block per game and almost 2 steals a game. Well, that's cool because the Cavs turn the ball over a lot and they give up 6 blocks per game. So we might even get some more value in the stocks department. And I think it's like crazy that you give up the ball 8.4 times per game, which I think is top 10. Let me see, steals allowed per game. Might even be like top 5. Yeah, Cavs give up steals the 4th highest amount in basketball, which is crazy because they run a bottom 5 pace. So there's like less possessions and they're still giving up per game a lot of steals. So this could be one of those massive stocks opportunities for Kawhi. And on that same thought, maybe a guy like Patrick Beverley at 4,300 on DraftKings. What a pivot he would be to like Monte Morris ownership, right? I don't really see myself getting to like Ibaka or anyone else. I think for me it's just Kawhi. If I was getting ultra creative, I'd look at maybe one of these guards, but I think I'm just staying with Kawhi here. If I trusted in the blowout, is there anybody priced at something I'd maybe take a shot on? No, even Zubac's expensive. Lou Williams is almost 7K on FanDuel. Probably not. On the Cavs side, Andre Drummond is 6,500 on FanDuel, 7,700 on DraftKings. The opportunity cost is so low for him on FanDuel. Where I can live with 30-plus fantasy points. I'm not really running from bigs against the Clippers. Last 2 games, Portland 17 minutes, 16 minutes against Denver. Can we put some substance and reasoning to that? I know Jared Allen didn't start that last game. It was a blowout against Portland, and he had 4 fouls. So let's popcorn machine it, but I'm assuming that the blowout killed his minutes in that game. And the fouls didn't help either, right? So Andre Drummond played 5 minutes in the first quarter, 2 fouls. 5 minutes in the second quarter, 1 foul. So he had 3 fouls at half. And then to open up the third quarter, he picked up a foul, so 4 fouls, and then the game is done. And he doesn't touch the doesn't touch the court for the rest of the game. So while I don't think Drummond's like a mid 30 minute per game guy, I still think there's an argument to be made that 25 to 30 minutes of Drummond at the 6K price range gets you there. So I might still have some Drummond. And then the game before that was what? Another blowout? Yeah, another blowout at Denver. Altitude. But prior to that, 36 minutes, 30 minutes. And if you get me 30 minutes of Drummond, like there's a chip in a chair. 22 minutes against the Clippers earlier this season, 20 fantasy points. I just think the price is too low for me to not have some exposure here. I have him for 24 minutes, which is 35 fantasy points. Chat, are you guys staying away from it? I don't think I roster him on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, it's just the price is so low and the stocks, right? That's what Drummond's really good at, steals and blocks. Like that juices up your your FanDuel scoring even more. And the fact that he's $1,200 cheaper on FanDuel, man, that's got me curious. It does. I don't think I'm playing any Cavs today. I was looking at the Darius Garland assist prop bet, but even then, I'm probably just gonna sit this one out for Cavs exposure. But if you guys had that feeling in your bad knee with the storm coming in on some of these guys, let me know. But for the most part, I'm staying away. Lorenzo said, you read the story on Drummond about them not really playing because of expiring contract. They're trying to play the future in Allen. So I think the Drummond case is the fact that they have to trade him. They have to trade him soon. But I think the last two games are coinciding with blowouts and foul trouble. So I still think they're going to give him a shot at 25, 30 minutes. So put context to those minutes. But if his contract was expiring and your intentions are not to trade him, you should just be running him into the ground. But I think they're going to trade him. I definitely think they're shopping him, right? Showcasing. How many minutes are you projecting on Drummond? What's up, LP, man? Hope you're doing all right. I have him at 24 just to be safe. And at 24, I still feel like there's a shot at 6,500. What's up, Paul? Welcome to the stream. We're going to start all over now. Lorenzo says only playing Drummond if Allen sits. I think that's fair on DraftKings, but I still think on FanDuel there's a chip in a chair, man. What up, St. Case? How we doing? Jim Paris, Drummond contract's up. Yes, his contract's up, but that doesn't mean that in itself is not why his minutes are down. If somebody's contract is expiring, he's not sticking around, you run him to the gosh dang ground. I think they're shopping him. They're absolutely going to rent him out, or at least try to rent him out. But I don't think that's why the last two games his minutes were down. The last two games they were just getting smoked. So I don't know. That's where I'm at on that. James says there's nobody to get him in foul trouble other than Kawhi, so my bad knee likes it. I think at that price is too cheap. Came in late. Are y'all still on Isaiah Stewart if Plumlee's out? Yeah. I don't really see a reason why Stewart couldn't be in the pool. Lorenzo says, I really think they can't trade Drummond. His value at center's expired. He's a dinosaur this day in NBA. I think you get something for Drummond. I think we're underselling Drummond. Because even his he's had some decent assist games. I think there's a team for him, but the contract may not be able to fit. Like the Nets would absolutely love to have Andre Drummond right now, but I don't think they don't have any draft capital or assets to really make that happen. But there's teams out there with a need for Andre Drummond. It's just a matter if the Cavs really have a high price on him, and at some point you just sell him for what you can get, right? Dump the salary, and if you only get a draft pick, it's better than nothing if he's not going to be here next year. But that's enough of the GM logic. Fade Drummond, too risky, going to get traded. I mean, I'm not fading him unless he's getting traded before the game, at least on FanDuel. It's an arrival out about him. Gun, look into it before you play him. It's an arrival out about him. You might have got auto-corrected there. Jim says, would you play Saddiq Bey for Detroit? I think you put him in the player pool. You taper your expectations. He's obviously not going to replicate that ridiculously high shooting night from the other night. But I do think he's a talented rookie. And I've been watching and waiting to see what happens now that Derrick Rose is out of the mix off of that second unit. And it's not unreasonable to think that Saddiq Bey will thrive. But if you've been watching Saddiq Bey on the season, he's had blow-up games all year. They just come randomly, it seems, right? But, yeah, he would be in the pool if you really want to diversify your value pool. But don't be over bullish on him, you know? It's a story about why he's not playing. Look it up first game before you play tonight. It's a reason he played 18 minutes and 16 minutes his last two games. Yeah, the reason is blowouts. It's not that complicated. I get it, guys. He's going to get he's trade bait, but they were getting smoked by 30 points the last two games, right? We just pulled the popcorn machine. Blowout. He had 4 fouls against the Blazers, and they were down 30. So if you look at that popcorn machine against the Blazers, look who closed the game. Dylan Windler, Lamar Stevens, Isaac Okoro. I get it. I understand that he's going to get traded, but I also think that I wouldn't be stunned if he gets his 25 minutes. We're spending way too much time on Andre Drummond here. Is Monk a tier 3 for you? I think Monk's under 5K. So players under 5K, I tier a little bit differently. For those of you that are maybe new to the stream, I'll explain that in just a second, because it's a good time to plug the spreadsheet. So what I do every day when I create my player pool, I have a tiered system. So if we pull up my FanDuel worksheet, players above 5K, I rank tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So tier 1s would be the guys I think have the lowest chance of failing, greatest chance of succeeding at their price points, and those would be my core plays throughout the night. And 50 lineups, these are probably guys I have close to 50%, if not more of, and these are guys over 5K. And tier 2 is kind of a step backwards, guys I still like, but either salary or confidence levels are a little bit lower, so I put them in the tier 2, and these are probably guys that sit around 25 to upwards of 40% in my lineups. And then tier 3s are guys that I probably have less than 30% of, but they're in the pool and they're in the mix, and if the optimizer can give me those guys, then I'll take them. And then guys under 5K, I'm looking for value. I only have 2. I have the risky and the core. I'll have a couple guys I'll lean on. I'll be okay with having 50% or greater of some of these core plays. And then guys that I think are a little bit riskier, a little bit more volatile, your MCWs, guys like that. So if the question was, is Monk a tier 3? So Monk being under 5K, will it be a core value or a risky value? So if I go look at the FanDuel player pool and I just pull up Monk, and by the way, I do like Monk. I think Monk is easily the six-man option here for Charlotte. I think he could be the Swiss Army knife, playing backup 1, 2, and 3. We've already seen a strong game or two out of him in the last couple of outings. We saw that slate breaker game, 36 against Houston in 25 minutes. I do like him, but I don't know that he's going to be a core. And to be a core value and to be somebody I'm going to have a high amount of, it means that's going to be a position that I'm not going crazy at the top end. And I think this is one of those positions because the top end is all out. So I think at shooting guard, Rozier 7K shooting guard, that's a yikes. At shooting guard, it's really rough. I think this might be the toughest decision or toughest position on FanDuel. So Malik Monk, he has a shot of being a core value play for me just because of position scarcity, and I'll just make up the difference elsewhere. So I guess in a way, the answer is yes. It would probably be a core value. If you guys want access to my full player pool when I'm done carving it out, and access to the spreadsheet that we've been navigating and referring to throughout the duration of this stream, it is a premium perk of having a VIP pass at RunDFS.com. If you go to RunDFS.com, make yourself an account, click VIP passes. There's several passes available. There's the week, 2-week passes, month passes, all that good stuff. That's going to get you coverage for NBA spreadsheets. We got baseball around the corner. A NASCAR drop today. Smeezy had some content up for that. Once you upgrade, you'll be able to unlock the VIP forum. You click forums, you go there. There's going to be a link to the spreadsheet and a link to the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord. And this is where I think a majority of the value and fun of the subscription is. It looks like people are in chat or voice chat right now. I don't know what they're sweating. Maybe they're sweating NASCAR. But we'll have a pre-lock voice chat every day for 2 hours before lock, talking plays, talking picks, talking life, hanging out. And you guys can listen in on that or grab a mic, join in on that. And then, of course, we have the prop betting channel, Top Shot. If you're top shot investors, you want to speculate. I did get all of the gift cards yesterday, so kind of talking about what the options are. If you guys play that too, we'd be glad to have you. But like I said, NASCAR showed up. Our buddy Kyle from Fantasy Dominations there, stocks, crypto. It's a really good community. So if you guys want to find another way to support the stream, support the site, get a little something in return, go to RunDFS.com, get yourself a VIP pass. You get access to my FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo, and Price Picks projections. And it's just, I don't know. We like it. We love Fortnite. We have fun. By the way, Price Picks, man, don't forget, PricePicks.com. They've offered a really awesome deal if you guys want to go play on their site. You never played it before, prop betting, parlay prop bets. If you sign up using code GUNDACKER, you'll get an opportunity to match your first deposit up to $100. So if you just want to try $10 on it, turn that $10 into $20, spread it out using code GUNDACKER, but it'll let you do it up to $100. Chad, anything before we get into the main event? Is Plumlee in? I think he's questionable, so we don't know yet. Dan says, are we a little concerned about Cavs getting smoked tonight? Absolutely. I mean, this could be another game where the Cavs get run off the court and Drummond plays another 17 minutes and people say, I told you so. And I'm just like, they got blown out again. So, yeah, absolutely. I think it's the largest spread on the slate. So, absolutely. But Drummond's really the only Cav that I'm even thinking about on FanDuel. I don't really have an infatuation with anyone else. Pete says, guess who's back at the Jaw slot machine? I kicked the granny out the way. Yes, sir. Hey, Jaw was a fine play last slate. G-Man says, I've been getting to baseball again. I like all the sports, but baseball's getting more interesting again, in my opinion. Every DFS sport I think is beautiful in its own right. I think football is a sport that is fun because we only have to do it once a week. We cram it in and we enjoy it. Basketball is the most stressful because it's the most news intensive, and there's a good chance when I go off the air, 2 players get ruled out, and half of what I talked about is irrelevant. But baseball, I love baseball because I can sweat almost every at-bat in my lineup if I'm running single entry. Lineups are out hours before lock. I can have all my content tightened up, and my spreadsheet does so much of the work for me in terms of displaying pertinent information. So I do love baseball. I think they all have their own beautiful pluses and minuses. I think baseball is great because I don't really care about salary in baseball. It's not really a value system. If Mike Trout hits a homer and my 2K catcher hits a homer, it's not like I thought one play is a better play. It is what it is. So I'm glad to see that you're liking baseball. I wish more people would fall in love with baseball because I think the metrics make it one of the most beautiful sports. And once you understand the metrics, the pitch types, and what's really going on, the chess match of every pitch, it becomes something to enjoy on every pitch. Most people just kind of stigmatize it as a boring thing, but I love it. I think it's beautiful. Retro, Bay was getting them tough buckets. Yes, Sadiq Bay's really good. He's a walking bucket. MLB DFS my favorite to play for sure. Absolutely. We all know Gunn loves his Yankees. That is my life. I have one of my Valentine's Day gifts. Since I showed you what I got, I'll brag on her for a second. I hung it up, but my lady got me this Aaron Judge autograph, threw it in a plaque. So I got it hanging up on my desk. Aaron Judge, my favorite active player right now. Shout out to the old lady for that one. But yes, I do love my Yankees, man. I love them. Let's move on to the last game, main event tonight. Cleveland Cavaliers, or no, whoa, hey, scroll it. Memphis Grizzlies at the Sacramento Kings. Project starting 5 for the Grizzlies: John Morant, Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, Kyle. The Andersons got tickets to the game. How'd they get tickets? Jonas Valanciunas taking on Darren Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Richaun Holmes. We got a 229 total, a 1-point spread in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. We found out halfway through last slate that Darren Fox was questionable and ended up not playing that game against the Magic, and neither did Marvin Bagley. And it looks like both of those guys are questionable again today. And that's somewhat frustrating because there's a strong likelihood we would not have that information. Definitely wouldn't have that information before lock, but we may not have that information until halfway through the slate. So the pivots and whatever get a little bit tougher. Darren Fox dealing with a left knee contusion. He was held out of Friday's loss to the Magic due to the knee injury, which he suffered during practice on Thursday. If he's unable to play for the second straight game, rookie Tyrese Halliburton would fill the void. And Halliburton, of course, one of the better rookies in basketball. Marvin Bagley, questionable. Sore left calf. When he did not start, Glenn Robinson III replaced him in the starting lineup, and expect more of the same in this case. Nemanja Bjelica might also thrive, apparently. So, if Fox is in, 87.9K for him is a kind of a high price to pay anyway, right? We kind of like LaMelo Ball at that price range. even a little cheaper. So I'd probably go LaMelo in the 1v1. But if Fox was out, you love the opportunity there for Tyrese Halliburton to kind of step up, show out. On the Grizzlies side, Ja Morant, we mentioned it. Man, if you guys have been playing Morant faithfully, I think this is one of those spots we can jump back on. He did drop 40-plus fantasy points against the Lakers, but now he gets the Kings, and the Kings are I think the worst defense in all of basketball. We go check out that defensive rating tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Kings allowing 117.6 points per 100 possessions, which makes them the worst defense in basketball. And losing Fox and Bagley, you don't feel like that defense gets better. So there's a chance, no matter what, the spot is great for Ja Morant. They are just 1-point favorites here, so it makes me think maybe one of Fox or Bagley are in. And I think all the Grizzlies are somewhat in play. I pushed a lot of projections today to 30. This has been a Grizzlies team where there have only been a couple of guys playing over 30 minutes, but with actually, I think didn't we get Brandon Clark probable? If Brandon Clark's probable, it changes a little bit in the front court. It's questionable. He's still questionable. All right. I feel like I saw probable somewhere. So chat, correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But if they're without Brandon Clark and they are without Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson, Anthony Melton, there are some 20-plus minute guys that aren't available today. And we have seen some weird stuff happen when some of these ancillary Grizzly players get run. I think Ja Morant's the guy that I'm leaning on the most here. I love him as the late-night hammer to drive home a potential 50 fantasy point game. I think there was a Morant-Fox I know there's the Fox-Lonzo feud, right? But Morant's the guy I do think plays up against a lot of other younger, high-touted young bloods. And I think no matter what, 34 minutes of Ja Morant, 7-1 on FanDuel, 7-6 on DraftKings. I just think that's a strong shot at 40-plus fantasy points. I also have him at 7.8 assists per game. What is Morant's assist prop on Prize Picks today? Just out of curiosity. Assist for Morant. Control F. Morant, he's at 8. All right, so this is a little bit juicy right there. Jonas Valanciunas, a name that sticks out. If Brandon Clark is out, Jonas Valanciunas might be my favorite center on FanDuel. I think 50-plus fantasy points is definitely within the wheelhouse here. You got to scroll down a little bit, but a 7.1K, I do think the price is right and the production has been okay. Against the Lakers, one of the toughest matchups in basketball, 36 fantasy points, was able to muscle that out. Just 28 minutes against the Charlotte Hornets, 38 fantasy points. I think in a neutral competitive game, in a spot like this where the minutes are actually somewhat solidified for J-Val, I think 50 fantasy points is a realistic range of outcome against this Kings front court. If we go pull up the team DVP chart in the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet, Sacramento Kings giving up the third most fantasy points per game to opposing bigs. They're suffering and bleeding everywhere except power forwards, ironically. But I even then, I wouldn't run from a Kyle Anderson or something like that. Grayson Allen, also not a fun name to play, right? No one's playing Grayson Allen this season. But that last game out, the minutes opened up. 35 minutes against the Lakers was just under a fantasy point per minute. We get 30 minutes of anyone, right? I might play you at 4,300, 30 minutes against the Sacramento Kings. So Grayson Allen maybe enters the chat. Dylan Brooks in a fine spot as well. More shots for him. I kind of looked to him when they had Desmond Bane in the lineup. I think Bane's a great shooter, one of the most efficient shooters, I think, in the league. I don't really think Grayson Allen replicates that, so I think it could be a tongue-in-cheek boost for Brooks as well. So I look at the Grizzlies a lot like how I'm looking at the Charlotte Hornets today, where I just love everyone, and I can make cases for all of them, and the prices are fine. I don't feel like I'm getting a risky price on anybody in this lineup. Maybe J-Val becomes riskier if Brandon Clark is upgraded to probable. But it's just a strong spot all the way around and a really good matchup against the Kings. And on the Kings side, I probably don't play Fox regardless, but if Fox was out, I would absolutely be rostering some Tyrese Halliburton, 61, 6,600. I mean, he looked fine, and it looked like picking up that starting point guard role, that was an opportunity to shine. And his assists went to 7 assists against Orlando Magic, just 27 minutes played. But I think 30-plus minutes is in the wheelhouse for this one for him. So I do, if Fox is out, so I do like him. And Buddy Hield, 7K, that's never a fun click. But the minutes, he should be amongst the team leader in minutes played. Harrison Barnes, another guy, not fun to pay that price for him, but he's been better than a lot of people realize. And then Rashawn Holmes against the Grizzlies at 5,700. Could I get 30-plus fantasy points out of him? I think it is in the range of outcomes. I'm not pushing him as a priority, but I think the opportunity cost is low enough that I'd have more than 0 in 100 lineups. But, man, the Grizzlies stack and the Hornets stack, I think, will be a lot of my core tonight. I do. Chat, let me know what you guys are thinking. Final questions, comments, concerns. I do have an obligation to get in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat. It is a Sunday. Usually don't do covers on Sunday anyway. If you guys are getting out of here, though, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up before you go. Helps me out. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, you appreciate DFS content, make sure you're subscribed. I would appreciate that. Let's get caught up on chat here. LPM says, would you stay away from playing Michael Porter Jr. and JaMychal Green in the same lineup? I don't know that I would go set a rule to say if this, no this. But I don't think that's a crazy correlation. I think it makes sense. And I also think there's a correlation between, MPJ getting benched for poor defense by Mike Malone and JaMychal Green having to step up. So it makes sense. I don't know that I'm going to go out of my way and set that rule in my correlations tab. Lorenzo says lock Ja in, no Melton and Bane. I love Ja Morant. I definitely think Ja Morant has a chance of being one of my tier 1s. We'll see. Jim says play Allen and Grayson Allen and Jonas Valanciunas. I think those are good plays. Shadow says Joe Val over 16.5 points or 10.5 rebounds. Which one? Probably the points. His average on the season is 16.1 points, so 16.5. So we want to know if he can outperform his average on the season. And if we look at the points in the paint allowed per game from the Sacramento Kings, they are giving up the most points in the paint. So I think if we put him in the best matchup of the slate when it comes to scoring for centers, he can outperform his average. So I'll probably take the points one there. Gordon Hayward out. What's up, Buff Balls? Yeah, we got Gordon Hayward out. Ja only averages 18 points per game in 4 meetings against Fox. Interesting. We put some substance on those minutes, maybe. Ja Morant, DKP by game log versus De'Aaron Fox last 5 games. Have they even played 5 times? (41, 20, 32, 21). So the 20 came in 30 minutes, 33 minutes, and 32, 30, blah, 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 blah. All right, so his best game is his last game. That's interesting. I guess we can put context to it, though. We'll click on a game. Click on the second to last game where there was no assist. Who else was active for the Grizzlies that game? Player stats. Grizzlies had Jaren Jackson, high usage guy. He had 16 points. That's about the main difference. And then D'Anthony Melton had 24 real points that game. He's not active tonight. Tyus Jones with a little bit uncharacteristic 16 real points. Josh Jackson not on the team. So I feel like we can put a little context to and even speculate that he can replace some of those points. But that's fun to look up. Paul says Memphis is playing themselves out of the playoff hunt by playing Ja under 30 minutes. I definitely think they they spread a little too thin because they had a bunch of guys at 28 minutes. But maybe their plan is long term and not this season. Like the stream so you can win big, man. I would appreciate that. Anyway, that's today's stream. Usually we don't do Sunday streams, so even more so than usual. Show some love if you enjoyed some Sunday spins and mixes and all that good stuff. If you guys got anything else for me, twitter.com/Gundacker. That's how you guys can reach out to me. DMs are open. I'll be in the voice chat next couple hours. You guys want to chat it up? It's going to be a little bit more laid back. It's a Sunday, but it's a big Sunday slate. I would appreciate, or not appreciate, we welcome all the new Vipers. So if you guys want to get into the premium chat, premium spreadsheets, get my player pool, go to rundfs.com, make yourself an account. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And tomorrow's schedule looks like this. By the way, guys, don't forget, take care of your girls today. Just make them feel special. Shut them up. I'm kidding. Tomorrow we got 2, 4, 6, 7 game slate. So we'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, right here on the channel. And I'm slacking at putting up early vids, but I need to put up some type of 10 to 15 minute videos. So maybe tomorrow it gets done. I love you guys. I hope you absolutely win all of the money tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.